Hey everybody, welcome back to Heroes of the Storm. I am recording a replay right now. I'd like to lock on to there we go. So, back again with another one of these play-by-plays of one of my own better games. Just know for a fact that I choose the games that I put up onto YouTube right now based on how well they went.
10 seconds.
So this is the culmination of a very long day of unsuccessful games, including a number of times when I actually got kind of enthusiastic that we were back again on the on one of my favorite maps in the game, actually, Warhead Junction. So I get to play the Nuclear Dragon Queen, which was a pretty successful game the first time around. Anyway, our teams right now as we go into the first engagement are on our side. I am playing Alexstrasza along with Tassadar is my other support. Damaging for us is Kel'Thuzad, and our two tanks, Diablo and ETC. Diablo, who I very, very poorly let die up there. Anna, however, I don't intend to let get away. Our opposing team, by the way, as their support, they're going to have an Anna with a possible Abathur out there to help them. Stitches, Butcher, Gul'dan. Pretty dangerous combination. Abathur on these 3-lane pushing maps tends to be a real nuisance. Honestly, I don't have a recollection of him being all that dangerous in this game. It's interesting how Abathur players tend to either be very, very useful and just extremely annoying, or the literal worst. My heal abilities on cooldown, unfortunately, there. Nothing I could do. Diablo, on the other hand, I could try to help out. Everybody sticks back to get my abundance heal. Anyway. So, we're doing the usual Silver League thing. You saw me pinging the top and bottom lanes, where I attempt to signal my team that perhaps maybe it would be more beneficial for our experience if we stopped team fighting in the middle of the lane at the very beginning of the game and started pushing lanes. A lot of communication issues are rising in this team, by the way, but the pinging was actually pretty good. The thing is that you're going to notice that Tassadar throughout this game seems to think that he can do most of the laning work by himself. Not sure who was doing all that pinging. I think it was Tassadar. Anyway, I should probably point out, by the way, that if you're seeing chat right now on the screen, I did not see that during game. I have my chat turned off. I'm sure I probably noted that. I go into Dragon Form to try and push off this. Dragon Form is best used to secure objectives, in my opinion. Especially when you're playing the full heal build. If you're going for the, what I like to call the Dragon Queen build, where you take the talent to have your Flame Buffet reduce the cooldown of Dragon Queen, or your Dragon Form ability, then Dragon Form is a bit more of a... you get to move over to more of a damaging, even tanking role, almost. ETC being a little callous there, I don't know if you saw that, but he walked all the way right up to their wall and was in full bombardment of at least 3 of their towers. I was lucky that I managed to heal him, because he probably would have died otherwise. Another thing that I really noticed throughout this game is that it just, again, our lane game was very weak. We're a level ahead right now, but that's all mostly because of team fights. I pinged for help for someone to come, and I immediately noticed that I think Kel'Thuzad is the one who's going to be the most useful to me in this game. The one who is, that sounded kind of douchey, didn't it? But I kind of felt like Kel'Thuzad was the one who kind of knew what was up, what was going on. Tassadar, again, going like a kind of specialist role, I think. Overextending, and I think I saw him down there, and I knew that what he was doing was stupid, but again, it's that typical thing where player overextends after a while, and he didn't pay for it with his life this time, but again, you can see that the tanks usually are the ones. I try to stick with Kel'Thuzad for as much as I can, because he obviously needs help versus all of this burst damage that they have on their side. And Butcher with his high basic attack damage. I believe that's Tassadar pinging. No, that might be me. Doesn't matter. Yeah, apparently Kel'Thuzad was knew exactly what to do, and that was the point where Kel'Thuzad pinged me that he was going there. I was initially going to stay in the mid lane, then Kel'Thuzad pinged that he was on his way to the mid, and I decided to go see if I couldn't help Tassadar push back that advance. Tassadar really irritated me throughout this game. I'll just say that much. Anyway, and again, we can see that there isn't really a lot of coordination going on. When you ping for help to go to other lanes, you get like massive amounts of players moving down there, leaving other lanes empty. And again, we're not paying for it yet. You can see our level. We are ahead. We're the red team, by the way. So even though we are ahead somewhat, we are in definite danger of losing objectives, first of all, losing those nuclear warheads. And just in general, losing out on possible experience. Now this is a pretty dumb move from me. I was going to go get the nuke. They were waiting there in ambush. It's lucky that Kel'Thuzad was there to give me a hand. And then I go dragon form. I see there's 3 of them and our whole team is here. This is a good opportunity for it. Just go there, nuking the enemy team. I managed to kill the enemy butcher. And I think that's all I managed to do at this point. Yeah. The Kel'Thuzad was on point with his roots. Honestly, the real hero of this game to me, like at this point, is Diablo. And apparently I'm seeing now that apparently the enemy was having issues with one of their players disconnecting. Try to stick around and prod at Gul'dan a little bit. And once again, this is the point where I'm looking at Kel'Thuzad, at Tassadar down there in the bottom lane thinking, come on, bro, there's 4 of us up here in the mid. You're pushing that far ahead, somebody's going to notice you eventually and they're going to kill you. But apparently he wasn't worried that much about it. So we are 3 levels ahead at this point. Things looking pretty up. Just prodding at them a little bit, playing with fire somewhat. And there goes ETC. I was about to go down to see if I couldn't help Tassadar, but then I realized that ETC was going into attack, and I made the choice of sticking with ETC. And I could say that Tassadar paid the price for it, but really I think Tassadar deserved what he had that coming to him the moment he pushed that far ahead. It was a matter of time. He was playing extremely reckless throughout most of the game, and you're going to notice that he frequently tends to not stick with us. Not stick with his team. And I mean, in general, at this stage of the game, it's not a bad idea to have heroes split up around the lanes to try and keep XP and lanes from being pushed too far. I failed to save Kel'Thuzad there. I own that. Even though you can see that Diablo is doing more or less the same thing. There we go, got my ultimate. And raining fire down from above. It took Anna a while to notice that I was on top of her. So yeah, Diablo tends to split around from the group too, but first of all, you'll notice that whenever there's a big team fight, he always finds himself right back there immediately. So Diablo was playing very self-aware, and he never outmatches himself. He never overextends. There was that one time up top lane, you might have noticed a couple of minutes ago, when he went to grab Abathur and pull him out from his base, but Diablo was always very conscious as to where the enemy team was, or where there was a danger of them being, and reacted to those situations very well. Okay. Again, I'm not happy with how they're overextending at this point. They're all there, literally all of them. Drop the abundance, try and keep them alive, and once again, dragon form. This is the perfect time to go dragon. Gul'dan's encounter with me goes about as well as you would expect an Orc Warlock when going up against a literal red dragon.
The warheads are ready for collection.
I should probably also mention that we're not doing very good for objectives here often. It's me prodding to see if there are any Abathur mines nearby. And trying to think of what else to say really aside from the play-by-play. You got Kel'Thuzad there making the same mistake as Tassadar earlier, trying to push a lane, but Honestly, I wasn't really paying attention to what was going on out there because one of our forts was very close to collapsing. And yeah, they did get him. That was... I'm not sure why he did that. Once he got the nuke, because I think that's why he was down there. Once he got the nuke, he really should have just left.
Red team has launched.
I was debating doing this because, I mean, that fort was destined for death anyway, but I could have probably used that warhead for something better.
Red team has destroyed the fort.
And then Diablo at this point spots that the enemy team is boss rushing. They're trying to take down the boss. It's a weird choice from them, considering there were so many of us up on the map to interfere with them. But I mean, we didn't react fast enough. We were one hero down at the time, so I get in there to try and prod a bit. But you know, noticing that there isn't really much I can do, I just try and drop some fire on them. I get happy when I see a low health butcher, then get disappointed again when, you know, after the first hit I realize that, oh wait, that's the Abathur butcher, not the real one. Drop a heal on ETC, and you know, Kel'Thuzad coming in, just wrecking house. They did get the boss though. They're going to pay for it very dearly, but they did manage to get it. They're not really going to manage to get anything else. Kel'Thuzad again on point with his roots. Stitch is not managing to get away, although we are all you know, slowed by his bile. And I don't think we managed to save this fort, but I mean, I think this was probably not worth it for them. They got one fort out of that boss, a fort that they easily could have gotten other ways. Excuse me, my computer went to sleep, so my screen has just gone black. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, you know, we take down the boss, no big deal. Tassadar with his walls, walking through the green goo. And yeah, the thing that really frustrated me throughout this was just our mercenary game. We weren't gathering mercs fast enough. We weren't, you know, that's me pinging Tassadar again because he sticks behind there, even though he sees the four of us moving on. He does that to, you know, fight off those mercenaries. And then, you know, at this point, I think they're probably, because I saw Butcher for a split second at the top, that they're probably going up there, but you know, there's no way. They're not going to do that a second time. They're trying to trap us. And that hook is where I get tipped off. So I just stick around to try and support ETC. Stitches is going 2v1. So literally all I try to do is just keep ETC alive. Drop some fire down on our enemies. I did that mostly just to escape, really, rather than anything else. Gul'dan gets slowed and stunned by Diablo's Apocalypse. And unfortunately, most of the team, yeah, I was very close to getting both Gul'dan and Anna at that point, but there's not much for me to do. And this is where I come very close to dying. Butcher hits me once, fails to follow up, and because my talent keeps healing me every time I hit Flame Buffet, I do manage to get back before I die, just barely. And yeah, that's what happens when you go 4v5. And because we didn't have Tassadar with us, he, you know, obviously pushed that lane up because he wanted to drop his nuke on it. I hope it was worth it for him, because I don't necessarily think it was worth it for the team. We ended up losing more than we gained there. Enemy caught up to just a level behind us, having killed literally 2/3 of the team. While Tassadar was playing out there with nukes. I changed my mind to go help him there, seeing that Kel'Thuzad is doing the smart thing and fighting back the two heroes in the mid, and you know, I figured if Tassadar really wants to die by himself, then, you know, he can go ahead and be my guest. Our thing back there was actually the smart thing from him to do. So, yeah, Gul'dan dies, gets caught out by himself, his teammates abandoned him, and Butcher, yeah.
Blue team has launched
Butcher, his clone, Anna, and Abathur decide to go up and get the Merc camp at this point. Stitches very brazenly walks right through our base. There's no way that we're catching up to that, so... Yeah, this is the point where the team started to realize that, you know, maybe we should get some Mercs to push back as soon as they got the second boss. They didn't really get far with it, though. So yeah, a little bit of map presence. Abathur was given away by his Locust Swarm there. And... Yep. Now some might say that was a waste of an ult. dropping it on a single Abathur and then traversing the length of the map to go back and fight a boss. To those people I say, I am a freaking dragon and I can do whatever I want. You gonna tell a dragon what they can and cannot do? I know that if I personally saw a dragon that was doing something I didn't think it could do, I would certainly not say anything, because it's a dragon, and dragons are dragons. Okay. Again, the blue team very ahead on their Merc game. Their lane push was good. It was their performance in team fights, I think, that was weak. I don't think Abathur really, pulled his weight for that team very much, because unlike most Abathur players, he was not much of a nuisance to us. As I go into dragon form again, trying to protect our team from a charging butcher. Abathur wasn't much of a nuisance here. He didn't, it wasn't like we constantly had to go rushing to the other lanes to fight back against Abathur's push. Like, really, I barely ever even noticed him in this game. Anna gets caught by Kel'Thuzad, again, on freaking point. We go back to fight some of the mercs that they put in our lane. And I mean, the enemy team is catching up, but that's pretty much all they're doing.
Warhead deployment nearing completion.
They start doing the boss at this point. But the enemy team comes in, tries to fight us. There I go again, this time mostly just out of a desire to heal my team rather than do damage. I'm thinking that maybe I can prevent him from escaping, but, I was wrong. I was lucky he didn't decide to engage me, because with the Abathur hat, he was basically going 2v1 there. My team was behind me, admittedly. That was a very brash move, and it could have easily got me killed if the enemy team was a little bit more aware. But we got our 2-level advantage back now. Going to grab nukes. I decide to go see if I can't help Tassadar out down there. And engagement up with Butcher. Goes pretty badly for them. And yeah, there's pretty much, 3 of them down here. Not much we can do against them. Butcher, so the Abathur Butcher actually, with his missed hook.
All warheads have been claimed.
Just prodding him with Flame Buffet as much as I can. I was, just a little bit worried there. Because, despite the fact that I went down there to help Tassadar out, Tassadar didn't really seem to want to repay the favor very much. And again, we get them caught out of position. Losing a little bit of life, though, thanks to Gul'dan's corruption. Do my best to keep him alive, but I am running out of health. And, yeah, sorry, Anna, but it's kind of what happens. Alternating between doing damage and healing Kel'Thuzad. And I realized at that point that, I had less health. I was moving in the wrong direction. If Gul'dan had noticed me at that point. I stick around just, in case they absolutely need me, but I'm contemplating hearthing at this point. As soon as I save my teammates from a butcher. They go into dragon form again. Again, Kel'Thuzad. Kel'Thuzad doing the Dragon Queen's work. I am going the full support build here, by the way. Full support build that goes for, building up on the Gift of Life. And I'm beaming with joy at this point. Kel'Thuzad pinging at the Merc camp. I'm like, yes, please. Finally, let's get the Merc camp. I'll stick around with my low mana a bit if you guys are just going to get Merc camps. That's great. We enjoy some of the rockin' tunes of the StarCraft remastered soundtrack. Defensive nuke being deployed there just to clear out the wave. I don't really think there's ever a good reason to use nukes for that, especially when you have like a Gul'dan on your team. They were far away from the fort. Not sure what's going on. Tassadar, again,
Destroyed a fort.
going for the siege damage. I feel like Tassadar was probably gunning for MVP. Like, that's probably what he wanted, just to, you know, get the most experience. Now, I'm not shy from taking this battle on. I get silenced here, and thank goodness my team is paying attention, because that easily could have killed me. Because the silence hit me before I could go up into the sky. Here we go. I'm desperately trying to keep the low health heroes from dying, and it worked pretty well, because there were 2 heroes very close to death. And that honestly was probably like my best Cleansing Flame play, I think,
Hero slain.
in that game up to that point. Kel'Thuzad activated his phylactery, apparently.
Hero slain.
Okay, Diablo is doing stuff by himself up there, ignoring the objectives. Pinging for help. I don't think I managed to save him, but I try. Oh no, I do. Okay. Yep. Diablo survives. Even sticks in the abundance that was a little bit too far behind, really. There I go with my dragon again. A one-on-one fight of an abomination versus a red dragon. Although there is a... they all choose to leave me alone here and ditch me for some reason.
Red team.
Good thing I stayed to help Diablo, I suppose. It's fine, though. I mean, it's not that easy to kill a dragon. I'm also looking at the score now. The thing, I wasn't really paying much attention to the score just because there was always something else that I had to pay attention to. We were apparently leading 27-11 by this point. And that's pretty good. I actually do have a nuclear warhead. I'm not sure how long I've had that. I've honestly kind of lost track. But I think I might possibly have been saving it for something. Kel'Thuzad went sort of behind the enemy there, and kind of a dangerous move. I was not able to save him. He wanted to drop his nuke, obviously, and I think then after that he wanted to get away. Thought he could get past Stitches. Unfortunately, though, I don't know if he didn't see, like didn't know the other heroes were there ready to get him, or... you know, if he just expected me to be able to heal him for more than I actually could, but that was kind of unfortunate. And now we kind of approach the end game here. This is, we got them all cornered. We got him at a 1-hero advantage at this point. I am admittedly running out of life, but again, look at that Diablo rushing to rescue his healer like a very diligent tank. I was very grateful for that. Gul'dan easily could have taken me out there. Now we finish off. I didn't get to see my nuke drop, by the way. I did drop it on the core. But yeah, the game is pretty much over at this point. We got a good pushes in the bottom 2 lanes. 2 of their heroes are down, including their strongest damage dealer. And Stitches not hitting any of his hooks either. Like, just before I played this game, I had an annoyingly good Stitches who hit every one of his hooks, and most of them on me. And then, watch this. Just before I die, right? Tassadar escapes. I'm about to go up into dragon form to save myself, and then the core explodes. GG. Everybody is happy. Unless you're on the enemy team, in which case you are not happy because you just got beat by the MVP Dragon Queen.
MVP.
Oh yeah, I was beaming at that. That was one of my best games that I had a while, and you know, don't think that this is evidence of me being good or anything. My previous games were middlings to disasters, pretty much. And yes, I did vote for myself. I mean, ETC is probably the one I would have voted for if not myself there, but definitely not Tassadar. Sorry, buddy, but whatever you were trying to do, I think it cost us more than we gained. We didn't actually have to go on that long, but we won. It was a really good game. For me, it was especially good. I think that I performed very well. You can take a look at our stats. As you can see, I out-hero damaged most of our... it's actually not true as I look at it, but I did damage equal to Diablo's and I managed to out-heal both of the enemy healers and our own. That's like an insane amount of healing. So this proves that Alexstrasza is one of the most all-around good heroes, I think, of the game right now as far as her uses are concerned. She can do insane amount of healing while still dishing out insane hero damage and getting nice kills, too. I mean, that was pretty good. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. Feel free to respond to the video with feedback in whatever way that YouTube makes that possible to you. Leave likes, leave comments, leave dislikes if you disapprove, and I will see you next time when I choose to record heroes again. Bye-bye, everybody.